Hi, everybody. Welcome to Square Off.
Liz, when it comes to animals like the IKEA monkey, most people feel it's not right for exotic creatures to be pets. But what about a deer?
Well, if you ask Janet Shorts, a 69-year-old Vancouver Island woman, she'd say, no problem.
Yeah, no wonder. She took in an orphaned fawn 10 years ago, and now Bimbo the deer is a permanent fixture in her home.
Wildlife officials say Bimbo must go. I say, if the deer is being taken well taken care of and being called deer and honey, then what's the fuss about? We're going to discuss it later on Square Off.
With hockey set to return tomorrow after a 4-month lockout, the NHL is apologizing again. Last week, Commissioner Gary Bettman appeared almost human when he channeled the spirit of Brenda Lee and said, I'm sorry.
Yesterday, the league used full-page ads in 40 newspapers across the United States and Canada to tell fans it's sorry for the lockout that delayed the season and trimmed the schedule from 82 games to 48. Now, the ad says, like you, we've missed NHL hockey, and goes on to say the league is committed to earning back your trust and support with hard work and unwavering dedication. But, you know, is that enough to win back the hearts and minds of fans who are pretty disgusted by the prolonged battle between billionaire owners and millionaire players?
We're joined now in Toronto by Cary Kaplan. He's the founder and president of Cosmossports. Here in studio, Don Robertson of the Senior A Dundas Real McCoys. Don, a new poll suggests Canadian fans are at least ready to forgive and forget now that the NHL season is about to begin. The Canadian Press Harris Decima survey found 66% of respondents said they would watch about the same amount of hockey as before. 23% indicated they would watch less hockey. Do you think that all this talk about boycotts will have any effect at all on the NHL this year or in the future?
No, and I think the survey is wrong. I think it's low. I don't see anybody abandoning the sport. It's the Canadian game. It's the way we love it. And they didn't abandon it last time, Mark. There's no evidence that will happen. The only thing we can take a look at to do any kind of a barometer read on it is the last time. And it grew about 33% in total all revenue. And I don't see any evidence that it's not going to continue to grow. They've got a 10-year deal in place. Sponsorship can come in. The 10 years is the key. And they can do long-term planning. They can do long-term sponsorships. I think the fans are going to come back in droves. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised that the attendance is up because you got places like Carolina and Florida and people that would say we're only going to go to 10 games anyway. If they still go to the 10 games, they've got less games to do it in, so their attendance may in fact be up.
All right, Cary, a lot of teams took a very proactive approach early on to ensure their fans don't harbor any ill will. The Leafs, on the other hand, came up with an open practice at the ACC that gave away some free scarves, popcorn, hot chocolate. Finally, at the last moment, some free tickets to the home opener. And some people are saying that the Buds really cheaped out on their apology. There were rumors that there were going to be discounted tickets. That did not happen. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I agree with Don in Canada. I think in Canada and in Philadelphia and New York and Detroit, there's no effect. Where I'm not so sure is in Florida and Nashville and places like that. You know, people get tired. They're tired of every few years the potential that there's not going to be hockey, and the passion isn't there in those type of places. So my bigger thing is apology's great, but I think what's eroded over time, and Don's right, after the last work stoppage, things got better. But what has eroded is the relationship between the teams and the fans. I think that's got to be better long term.
Don, it's all new and it's all exciting for hockey fans because it's been so long since there's been NHL hockey. But what if the Maple Leafs, or any team for that matter, get off to a slow start, the play is sloppy, the team doesn't look good, and now the fans go, you know, we were excited coming back, but now we're watching the product and it's not worth our money, it's not worth our time. Do you see more pressure put on teams like the Maple Leafs, even more pressure to make the playoffs, to be exciting, to give the fans their money's worth? And having said that, do the players, is there any culpability for an individual player to say, you know what, I'm really upset with what happened. I want to make it up to the fans. I want to give something back to the fans.
Holy crap. That's a lot of questions. Yeah. First of all, Mark, if you use the Toronto Maple Leafs as an example and they have sloppy play and don't make the playoffs, they've been grooming their fans for that for years, so they won't be surprised at all, and they're not going anywhere. What the shortened season will likely do is create some surprises. If the Leafs can get off to a 8-3 start, that may be enough to propel them into the playoffs. It's going to hurt in markets that Cary talked about. It's not going to have any effect, in my opinion, on the Canadian markets and the good hockey markets. Some of Some of the softer markets may have a bit of a struggle, but it's an entertainment thing. It's an event that they put on in Florida. It's not a hockey game. It's like their football games. I don't think it'll affect those guys. And you're absolutely right. Where I think, and the players have to take some ownership in this lockout, whether they like it or not, and I think the owners have gone out of their way to try and make good on a failed situation. And I haven't seen that from the players, and it really surprises me. I think that the players should be going out of their way and doing some outdoor games and really reaching out into the community. They're not going to have a lot of time, but they certainly should make the effort, and I haven't seen it yet.
So, Cary, what I hear you and Don both agree on is that you're not going. The NHL is not going to lose any fans. There's not going to lose any viewers. Everybody's going to watch the game. All the bad press and bad feelings has really just fueled a bigger appetite to watch. So, why, in your opinion, is hockey so irreplaceable?
Well, I mean, here, as Don says, the Leafs don't have to win another game. They've got waiting lists, droves of waiting lists. But it's not irreplaceable in other cities. And what Don said's right. I don't know why I think, unfortunately, the players these days are spoiled. But they're not just spoiled by themselves, they're spoiled by the owners. I'd like to see every player sign autographs after every game, not the home opener. Every game. I'd like to see players on the telephones phoning season ticket holders and apologizing to them. You know, now, when the 3 stars of the game, one of the saddest small things in hockey, it drives me crazy, is the losing team players don't get to come on the ice. I mean, that relationship between the fans and the players, and people come out to watch the players. I think that's terrible, and like Don, I'm disappointed. I think the players need to do more, but the owners also have to say to the players and the coaches and the GMs, this is part of it, and it can't be a one-off, because in some other markets, it's going to have an effect.
Don, can they do that? Can the team go to the players and say, look, we've apologized. We need you guys to go out there, show up in public, give some tickets away, do stuff like that? Or is that an NHLPA versus owners kind of thing?
Well, if they want to talk about it being a partnership market, it should go without being said. The players should come to the PR people that run the Toronto Maple Leafs, for example, or the Edmonton Oilers and say, look, we want to get more involved. We want to say thank you. How do we go about doing that? Rather than have the PR guys go to individual players and say we need an appearance here and an appearance there and refer back to the contract and basically blow them off. They shouldn't blow any PR guy off in any NHL team, and the players should be going.
But Don, let me ask you though, if you're saying you don't have to sell any more tickets and fans are still enjoying the game, then why would they do that? Because
it's a damn privilege to play in this league, and they are blessed with the opportunity. There's guys that play on my team that have played a little bit in the National Hockey League that would have bent over backwards to have an entire career. They know they're blessed because they're just a little bit better than some of the other guys that play in the American Hockey League, and they should be grateful, and they should show it. And I think they are grateful. I think they need more of an opportunity, but they shouldn't say no when the ownership go to them and management go to them. If you remember from the last contract out, there isn't a player that doesn't interview anymore on television that doesn't wear a team cap. And for me, for the life of me, I could never understand that before. You see Sidney Crosby, now he's wearing a Pittsburgh Penguin hat, or whatever team they're playing for. Right. They help market it, and they should. But they shouldn't have to ask that. I mean, the question shouldn't be between the NHLPA and the owners. They should all want to give back, and shame on them if they won't.
All right. Cary Kaplan and Don Robertson of the Dundas Real McCoys. And by the way, Don, your team continues to play, right? You've been playing all through this. The Real McCoys playing next Friday night?
Next Friday night in Dundas, and we've been locked in all year.
That's right. No lockout there. Cary and Don, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
When we come back, a new study shows that painkillers have become Canada's most dangerous drugs after tobacco and alcohol.
Now, we know they're being abused, but are they being overprescribed? That story next on Square Off, so stay with us.